helped change my life.
The business this year will do over $300 million.
$300 million.
Complaining is what broke people do to feel productive. Now, why would anybody want to be a billionaire? This is my super sport.
If you don't have a leadership team, I truly believe you. Welcome back to Exit Rich Podcast here with Lance Bachmann. I'm sitting here with a good friend of mine now for about the last 6-7 years. Helped change my life, and we're going to talk about that today. Tommy Mello, founder of A1 Garage Door, already sold it to Cortex once. Is riding the ride with them, and I'm sure you guys will talk about selling it the second time. Tommy, thank you for being on the podcast. Why don't you tell everybody real fast, Tommy, who you are, what you do? I think the majority of people listening to the podcast already know, but just in case they don't.
Yeah, well, I'm a garage door guy. I would say the first 10 years were practice. I'm an overnight success of 2 decades is what I tell people. I've learned a lot through failure. I would say this. I'm just really tenacious. I want to learn. I'm still a student. Selling half the business didn't change much. It actually got me more excited because I had a pocketbook of money to work with. Or a pocket of money, an empty, basically a blank paycheck, a blank checkbook. But, I've really been studying home service, and I study every industry. I study retail, I study e-commerce, and there's always gold nuggets. And the business this year will do over $300 million.
Say that one more time for the listeners. You're going to do over $300 million.
Yeah, but the real deal is I'm at 26% of the bottom. So
that's 75 million. It's actually 78 million.
Yeah, 78. And I got an acquisition that we should be over that. But the real deal is, how do I get from 30 to 40% growth a year? And there's 2 ways to do it. You could either grow revenue or grow bottom line. You can go from 26% to 30%, or you could go from 300 million to 500 million. And you could do both. Before I got with the PE guys, I didn't understand. I thought you either had to be growing revenue or growing EBITDA. I thought they were I looked at it like working out. You could either grow and get bulky, like Arnold used to get bulky in the off season, and then shred, and shred was profit for me, but you could do both. And then I learned to be patient. And I will tell you, these guys are very disciplined. I got with the right group. You hear all these horror stories about private equity.
We're going to talk about that too.
I mean, listen, I got some gems for you guys, but I'll just tell you, I'm a work in progress. I'm the best I've ever been, but the worst I'll ever be, because tomorrow will be a little bit better. And my goal today is just to deliver value. I've got a lot of haters as well as you. And I realize that the quote I have for that is, complaining is what broke people do to feel productive.
Let's just talk about that, because you do have a lot of haters. I always tell people, if you want to see the circus, go to the comments section of social media, or go listen to your ex-friends or whatever, because they just bitch and yell. The reason why tell me why you think most people wind up talking shit and being haters. Just what do you think the reason is? I have my reasoning.
Well, there's a few things. Number one, most people want to see you do as good as them. And then after you do better than them, it's and family, the same thing, close relatives, best friends, they start to hate. They want to see you just do as well, because they want you to maintain. And then they start looking, going, and I had one of my best friends come out, and he's like, I showed him my schedule. He's in, I think it's a beautiful house, 16,000 square feet. It's a great place. My dad's 70th birthday, my niece's 3rd birthday was there. And he goes, dude, I would never want to work like you. And I go, well, this is my passion. And trust me, I could see you don't want to work like me. I've been to your house in Michigan. Because they want the views, but they don't want to take the hike. And I think a lot of it is just insecurity. I think a lot of it, if you look at the people that I look at in the comments section, if they could, they would get the prices we get. If they could, they would hire. Like, they just got a small mindset. Like, they're like, why would anybody want the money like that? Why would anybody want to grow more than that? Why would anybody want to be a billionaire? And my answer to them is, this is my super sport. I don't wear Barry Sanders shirts on the back. I wear A1. I wear my own stuff. Well, what do you think about the people that hate on you? I mean, literally, I read your comments, and I read everybody. Like, this wealthy plumber guy came out of nowhere. I don't know who he is, but I kind of defend him because
I like him, actually, and he's smart. He is right. He is right. I mean, what do I think about haters? I think there's levels to this, right? Like, I was with Brad yesterday. He's like, Lance, you could be a billionaire if you want to be. I was like, I can be a billionaire if I want to be. I'll never be one, because I know the sacrifice it takes to get there, and I don't want to leave my children that much. Like,
right.
I know how hard you work, and I respect it. Makes sense, but I'm never jealous. I'm a Tommy Mello fan. Like, anyone that's more successful than me, I'm your biggest fan. because I know what it takes to get there, right? So, but with people that hate, they don't understand they have to sacrifice, suffer to succeed, no matter what level you're at. Like when I see a pro athlete, people are like, he's talented. I'm like, he's not talented. He grinded for 20 fucking years,
Yeah.
morning, day, and night to become that superb athlete. Like, I believe people have some extra special superpowers, right? I do. But I believe working hard will get anyone to where you have to be. I don't worry about haters. I actually never read the comments. You know that. I tell you that all the time. I never, ever, ever read the comments. Jacob actually responds to all my stuff. Neary does. And, it's funny because Ryan Stewman took a shot at me because of Victor
Yeah.
on social media. I'm like, and you know me, Tom, I don't bother anyone. I'm like very to myself. I don't have a boys network. I'm friends with everyone. I thought I was friends with Ryan. Like I never did not only had good conversations with them, and Kelly Mears posted it. I was like, "Ryan, why would you do this, trash our conference when you've never been there and just because Lance didn't have you speak?" And I just text Ryan, I said, "Ryan, listen, I like you. I hope you will lead the right way. I've never done nothing to you, but now you're hating on me." And I'm sure it's because he sees my success keeps rising and rising and rising, but he's taking out on him and Victor out on me. And I
Oh,
was
Chris Lee's a good buddy of mine. I love the guy.
Chris Lee's a great guy.
And he was like, "Why would you go to that stupid conference when I'm going to teach you all about AI?" And like, there's 20 people that called him out and text him, and he's like, "Dude, I'm just having fun." I'm like, "Dude, it doesn't really bother me."
Yeah.
It's
I don't
funny.
tell you take it down because I'm not getting into it. Like, you'd have your opinion. There's so much money to be made out there for everyone. Like, we're going to Home Freedom, right? We're sponsoring.
Yeah.
Like, like, you should be going to every conference. You're coming to roofing conference.
Yeah.
Actually speaking there. Like, if you have an abundance mindset, you should be going everywhere. It shouldn't be me versus you. There's so much money to be made. And it's like youth coaching. I tell this all the time. You should be going to as many different coaches as you possibly can to see all the different views, and it's okay.
I get annoyed when people post, you can say something about me, but when you say my guys are grimy, this is it's a high performing team, but it's when you say they're used car salesmen, they take advantage of old people. And I see that kind of stuff and I really get upset. I got to tell you, I'd love to say I got this thick skin and it doesn't bother me. Like you can say whatever you want. You never met me, but when you start talking about the company and my people, that's when I cross the line. And I say, you know what? I'm not litigious by any means, but I'm just really frustrated when people start. It's defamation.
They gotta say something. Listen, remember this, and I said this to my son one day. He said, "Dad, why did he say that to me?" I said, "Son, because you won, he lost. He has to have a reason for your failures, for his failures."
Yeah.
So people come up with, and so like, and when you know that, and this is something I just put on my group text on a football thing, because one of the assistant coaches said about Lance, you read the comments. And I said, the ringmaster never worries about the opinions of the acts in the circus. And like, you gotta remember, these people, when they're just taking shots, they're keyboard tough guys. They make shit up. They're miserable with their own life.
They are.
I made a comment about power washing. You'll laugh about this, right? One of my great friends owned a power wash company. I actually bought it with him, right? My good friend Gene.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough money for both of us, right? And that's just like, it's not personal. This wasn't enough money for two people. And when I say money for me to invest my time, his time, he's still one of my best friends. So I handed him back the company. No hard feelings. This is like 4 years ago. I think you know this. And I just said, I'll never be in power washing. Now, I, of course, support my friend Gene. I respect the shit out of him. I know he works hard for a living and it's an honorable job and he's not, but if you could be selling roofs at 20,000 or power
That's
washing.
what I've always said.
But you get this. So some kid that I grew up with, Danny, starts going off on me. Are you not back to reality and going crazy like on Facebook? I'm like, you're missing my point. I respect every job. I respect the guy that's selling ice cream at Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
I respect. But if you ask me a question of where I'm going to make the most use of my time, it's going to be in high ticket items.
Right.
I mean, do you disagree?
No, well, look, I told you before I thought power washing was something until I got behind the books. And what I realized is the large, vast majority of what I see online from almost every influencer is fake, even in the home service industry. I know the top guys, and I very rarely hear them talk about profit. And literally at the end of the day, like We could look at my books. I mean, I got them right here. I'm not gonna. This is super private. I'd show you, but this is real numbers. I'm not
I've
making
seen your
stuff
numbers
up.
before. I know you're not lying.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, we got 52 guys graduating. I just signed their certificates, 60 coming in next month. And I won't tell you I don't have problems. I mean, literally, we lose a lot of the new guys because they weren't cut out to work by themselves out in nature, whether it's 130 degrees in the garage or 10 below. I wouldn't tell you we don't have a problem with keeping technicians, because if they last 6 months, they're here forever. It's that 6 months period
Yeah.
of what's going to happen within that 6 months. I talked to Ken Goodrich. He's like, dude, you'll never get below 35, 40%. He goes, maybe if you do a great job hiring and integrating them into
turnover,
the turnover.
So
yeah.
we count. I mean, I'll be very transparent. At LB Capital, we predict a 50% turnover in all salespeople. Like that, and a technician's the same thing. We call
for us, yeah.
we call it a salesperson. Like, and that's a predictable model that we know. If we hire two, one is not going to make it. Like, and we do the best we can. We culture, but people want to say, "All my people don't leave." Well, then you're not growing.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them, we look at forced versus unforced, meaning we had a big part in them leaving. I had a manager call me up about a year ago, and I said, what's up with these three guys? We got awesome scorecards. They know what's going on. I study literally my vibe board for 2 hours a night. I mean, I'm in there looking at stuff, sending messages out to guys. And he goes, well, the bad guys always quit. And I go, yeah, I know, but that's going to be 4 months from now. I go, so right now I could pull down our PPC in that market. Your numbers would look a hell of a lot better. You'd be closer to hitting your bonus. Why are we waiting for them to quit? Like, either we're going to manage them up or out quicker.
Well, bad guys don't just, this is the problem. Bad guys don't just quit. They contaminate everyone else.
They do.
Until you get them out. And that's what people don't realize. It's, I don't use the word bad guys. I want to use the word, they're not A players. They're not even B players, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. So, like, but what they wind up doing is they wind up bringing down the level of your high achievers, because you got to protect your high achievers' mindsets.
Well, here's one thing that's interesting is I focused more. Yesterday I was on the phone with 3 of my high achievers, and typically I'm on the phone 3 to 5 times with a high achiever. Why? Because I've always used them to test things out. I test things out all the time. I'm like, listen, here's what I'm doing. Here's the latest and greatest. I've got a database of 1.6 million people. I've got one of my top guys in Phoenix. I said, we're going to come in next week. We're going to sit down with the dispatcher. We're going to go through all the jobs a year old or more. And we're going to book you 4 jobs a day for 1 week. And I'm going to let you pick the jobs. I'm going to call them with you, and we're going to book tune-ups. Tell them why they need to get us out every year. Now, here's what I'm expecting from you. If this works, we keep an extra 80 guys busy for the next 3 years, if we do it correctly. Now, I'm personally overseeing this to make sure it works. This database is worth gold. One thing I learned, and I brought Ken Goodrich up, but there's one thing that I think he does exceptionally well, is he's able to buy a company and actually make that database turn into gold. Now, I'm sitting on more people in my database than any other home service company I know. You know, maybe other than like Empire Today or something.
Correct.
But
Power or something like that.
1.6 million people.
It's a lot.
So people are like, how do I get more leads? Sometimes you got to look in other places. And every lead's a good lead, in my opinion, but there are really good leads. Like, now I'm building all this stuff out, man. The data I have.
Well, let's talk about 2 things real fast. Every good's a good lead, because, you know, people, especially salespeople, will tell you their close rate's at 11% or 20%, whatever their close rate might be, right? The leads are bad. The leads are bad. And I say, and I want you to correct me, because I've been in marketing for over 30 years. As you know, I own now multiple home service companies. I've had success. I've sold 6 now, right? And when I say someone calls you up and they bring you in their house and they say, I have an issue with my roof, no matter how small that issue is, would you agree that's a lead?
That's 100%. It's a great lead. And you know what I've learned is that we go out for $19 tune-ups. And my dad was in the automotive industry. He was the #1 guy at AMCO. That's how I came up with Pinnacle. He got a big ring. He went on these big trips every year. And anybody that walked in and wanted to tune up on their car, I slowly began, because I hung out at the shop. I was in the back. I was taking apart stuff. It was not a tune-up. The car was falling apart. The muffler was hanging. The radiator, it was over.
Of course.
And most people, very rarely, I was just in Denver and we were role-playing. And this technician goes, what if we just sold them a Signature Series last year? What do you want me to sell them the next year? I go, well, I want you to get a 5-star review on 3 sites to get the HOA president and go talk to the neighbors, but How often does that happen? How often are you going to a signature last year? 1 out of 10,000? I go, unless you're a maintenance tech, and that's completely different pay structure. You're not expected to sell anything. So I'm like, actually, Keegan was really smart. He told me never send a performance pay guy to run your service agreements until it becomes 8 to 10 years old. Then you send out a sales guy to replace the garage or the HVAC unit, whatever it is. So my guys are not expected to sell anything on service agreements. We go out, we take care of the customer, we lubricate, adjust, tighten, adjust the spring, make sure everything's perfect. Now we're working with Chamberlain for some new technology with the cameras and the doorbell and the facial recognition to open the door. So there is other opportunities to sell things if they want. That's another thing. I start out orientation. I go, who sells things people don't need? And everybody's, no, we don't do that. I'm like, who needs a app on their phone to open the garage door? Anybody? I buy a new phone every single year the new one comes out.
So do I, like an idiot.
Not because I need it, but because I want it. If a plumber comes to my house, I guarantee you he'll find something if he goes through everything. Do you want your water faster? Do you want the toilets to flush harder? Do you want, like, offer me everything and let me decide what I want. Don't just give me what I need. Tell me what I might want.
And I say this to all of our people in sales across the board. You're driving out there. The average drive to a call is probably 30 minutes, give or take, right? Right. So on that way there, I just spent my time. And most of these people don't have salaries. They're in sales. They're straight commission, right? The majority of them, right? So I just spent my time driving. Now I spend at least, I'm supposed to spend an hour and a half to 2 hours with the homeowner, but now I spend at least 30 minutes. You'd agree to that, right? You should at least,
yeah.
right? So,
I mean, 30 minutes, I want to play with their dog and at least find out what they do for a living.
but like, so now I'm an hour, hour and a half into this. Why not just say to them, hey, listen, I see the problem here, but let me inspect everything while I'm here. It costs you nothing, and make sure that we take care of all your problems at one time if there's any problems at all. How's that sound, Tommy?
Sounds great. Yeah, I want you to look at everything.
I mean, and no one's going to say no to that. And it's a simple just ask. But instead, people want the fastest. The majority of salespeople should be fucking order takers at Dairy Queen. I truly say it. Like, you want to make everyone happy, hand someone a Blizzard. You like Blizzards, right, Tommy?
I do.
I never met anyone that didn't like a Blizzard. I mean, like,
A good Oreo Blizzard.
they are. So I'm like, most salespeople, besides the high performers, should be working at Dairy Queen.
Well, here's the thing. I've noticed that the guys that I give the cheap tune-ups to, I'll give a great guy, and they'll text me afterwards. They'll be like, this is gold. But it was difficult because here's the way we went about it, and they take more time. They explain things. So I started a 0 line a month ago. If you can't close the job, now getting everybody to utilize the 0 line. So if you cannot figure out a way to earn the client's business, you got to call this line. There's 6 guys taking that call. 55% close rate, 55% average ticket of $847. I want you to think about that. Anytime you can't close it, now I'm talking about service.
Yeah.
Okay. Service is like something's wrong with my door and it's broken. Now, selling a door is different because you don't need it today. If someone calls out and says, I just looking at
100%.
So if I'm at a 55% close rate, I don't think you understand how much that 0. People are like, well, I don't work for free. I'm like, yeah, you do. When you go to a house and get nothing and do not earn the client's business, what do you consider that? That's working for free. So I've got this tool that we created that talks to payroll. So anytime somebody gets off-boarded or onboarded, they're in the system and it sends them out a questionnaire, their kids' birthdays or anniversaries. And I send out text message videos to every birthday and anniversary and top performer days. Even if you had your best day and you're a bad performer, I'm acknowledging that. It's a lot of work, but it's simple the way I did it. And I'm sending out messages all the time like, man, hey, I'm really proud of you.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Service Titan and Rilla, our technology of choice to helping us scale and grow our business and making sure all of our viewers have the technology to scale their business so when they want to sell it, they're able to.
But I feel like there's a next level for you and your family, an extra $50,000 a year. And I don't want you to sell things that you don't believe in. So help me understand what you need to believe in when you go to a door that's oxidized, the trim's messed up, it's not insulated, it's dented. And you don't even at least offer that because we got the recording tools in the garage to know if you even, do you like this garage? Have you thought about road? Did you want to kick the can down the road?
Do you use Rilla?
No, we actually built our own.
The bigger one.
Yeah. That I think is superior, although I love Rilla. And I love,
So you invested in Rilla?
I did. I invested in Rilla. And I just decided that I wanted to take the tool. I wanted to have proprietary tools to make us go so much further in our industry. See, everybody could use Rilla in my industry. No one's going to be able to use what I have. I mean, my tool, it actually, the next version coming out in Q4 will be you'll have a simulator of a client, because we record the clients too. That's what people forget. So you record it. So most people use Rilla to record themselves and listen to the tech words per minute. What did you say? Everything. Did you follow the script?
Yeah.
Well, you're also recording the client. So now I have the simulation. If you're not performing on one aspect of our 8-step sales process, now you got to spend one day with a manager and role play and beat the machine, and it's giving you feedback the whole time. And then it's looking for that on the next calls the next day to make sure you recited those things. And that's next level stuff. Like, it's great. The problem I find with most of these tools is you need 10 managers listening to calls all day and coaching. So I wanted to build a tool that not only did that, but it coached the guys back in real time, and it let you take time off. Like we use Lace. Like, our call center gets taken off. We know exactly the prescription. Everyone call center
using Lace AI.
Yeah.
Just so people know. Okay.
Lace
and what do you
AI.
think of Lace AI?
Well, it's funny because at the last Freedom event, we were at the VIP upstairs, and this massive bar thing, magicians were there. It was super cool. And this guy, Boris, walks up to me, and he's like, "Oh, Tommy." He's like, I'm from Facebook. I am a meta guy. I come up with the AI. And I'm like, okay. And, I hear about these all the time. And we got on the phone, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. And we implemented it. And I'm telling you, I was jazzed about it. What I'm more jazzed about anything is the way he's for developing it. Like, I'm in Lace just as much as I'm in Power BI. I don't even log into Service Titan at night anymore. I'm in Power BI. That it's extracting all the data, putting it into the things that I needed to look at. But Lace, I think the biggest, I don't believe, like right now, Lace, I'm the first client that it's actually answering our abandoned calls at night and weekends. But I still got a full-time CSR squad all the time, even at night. So it's handling the calls we can't get to. It's at a 70% to 85% booking rate.
Lace AI is
Lace with the AI.
Okay.
They built the AI agents. I don't believe in AI agents. I believe Tom Howard tried it. Some of my best friends tried it, and they all lose booking rate. You could compare the two. We've compared the two. Aaron Gaynor's done it. He's done it with Broccoli, and he's still on Lace. No one comes close to booking like a human today. It's supposed to be a tool to accelerate the performance of humans. In the next year and a half, it's going to move over. But I will always have, and my test is, if I call in, would I book this call? And I'm telling you right now, we're at an 89% booking rate. So one of the things I'm doing as I continue to think of, so PE's got to hold us for 3 years. We're ending up at that 3-year mark. So, we might go 4, we might go 4.5, whatever that number is. So my call center manager, I was telling you earlier, what kind of transaction bonuses could I give based on so if we budget for 88% booking rate, 89%, if he gets to 92, I could afford to give him a $250,000 transaction bonus. That's one tool in my tool belt, transaction bonuses, that if they could affect the outcome in a positive way, I want to figure out a way to get this guy. His name's Manny. He's my boy. He's going on a big trip that we're paying for everything. I just got him a trophy. He started crying. He goes, no one's ever bought me a trophy. I had a sick day when I tried out for my team in 4th grade, and literally, and I'm like, here's the deal, dude. How do I get his family excited about him going to work and working on the weekend? What do they have? Why could he look at his wife and his 7 kids and say, Daddy's going to be really busy this year, and here's what's in it for us?
Here's a question for you, right? So there's 2 things. We're going to talk about transaction bonus and PE firms. So many people talk shit and bad about PE firms coming into the trades. They've come into the trades heavily since COVID. They were in the HVAC space prior, as you know, but they were predominantly HVAC, a little bit of pest control, and some others. But since COVID, they run to the home services. And as you know, they look, and people think, and I deal with people all the time that think their companies are worth way more than they think, right? Like, they think they're doing $5 million in business total, and they think their company's worth 15, 20 million. I'm like, okay, dude, keep
But they don't have a clue, and that's being on podcasts like me and you, and knowing bankers and seeing transactions has been an education. I mean, I talked to Eric Van Dam the other day, and he's like, just so you know, multiples are down a couple turns because of interest rates. See, it's got to be able to pencil. The ROI's got to be able to pencil. Interest rates are.
Learn what that means, because Van Dam helped me sell Munns. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And I think he's the best banker out there.
Yeah,
I mean,
Rob and Eric are a power team. I mean,
mean-
they're the best there is.
and like I tell, but the problem is Eric's not taking everyone, and people don't understand.
Eric won't take anybody. He told me at $5 million of EBITDA, dude, I can't do anything for you until you hit 10 to 15.
Yeah, but he's a sharp guy, but he's willing to give anyone free advice. He's just a good man.
Well, he's planting seeds, you know. He obviously wants to know people, but he took a chance on me. First day I talked to him for 4 hours, he gave me every deal that's been done. He told me what I needed to do, my next move. He didn't give me my next 10 moves. He's like, let's see if you can do the first move right. And then he said, one of the things I don't like, Tommy, is I don't think you're using the right lawyers. Got me hooked up with Foley. That was the lawyers he recommended. Great choice, but there's also great lawyers, but just the lawyers I was using were great. Then he said, I think you should start a board. And he said, I think you're weak here. I think you need to have a president. And I did exactly verbatim what he said over time. And then he said, have you ever heard of equity incentive programs? He was the one that just mentioned it. And I adopted it and learned about it and worked on it through Foley.
Yeah, to the piece. So
the piece. So private equity. Everybody I know right now in SaaS, real estate, there's a reason every single person's jumping into home service and home improvement. It's the hottest thing right now. Trump's talking about it every day, saying I'm going to take from Harvard and give to home service. We need 500,000 electricians and HVAC to build the AI farms that they're doing. I mean, literally at the end of the day, we were deemed, COVID happened. Every movie theater, bowling alley, nail salon, hotel shut down. They called me and said, you're essential. If someone's trapped in their garage, you need to get out. The fact is, when money comes into an industry, it's great. Now, what I love about PE is they said, hey, Tommy, we're going to invest with you. We're going to teach you about something you don't know about. Do you know how to raise capital? Do you understand how to use debt to multiply, to give you a better ROI? Do you understand that we could give you the discipline and knowledge you need to go buy as many companies or grow as quick as you feel like you can? So I look at it as an opportunity to learn, and I've done the math if I would have kept going, and it would have been great. But the things that I've learned, Ken called me up, Ken Goodrich again, and he goes, dude, you are so good at home service. You're probably like home service PhD. He goes, but what do you know about this? I'm like, nothing. He goes, if you mastered that side, the other missing link of how to raise capital, of how to understand, how to get debt to make a deal happen, he goes, you would be invincible. He goes, I want you to extract everything you can from these guys. And I have. And I got to tell you, I'm way more, I didn't make any mistakes in the first deal, but with what I know now, I mean, literally, I'm asking for 15% P units in the next deal. I'm going to ask for the next bill. Like, when you go into a deal, is your time to negotiate. And here's the only thing that these guys care about the next deal. How are you going to keep your team together? And I got a whole plan. My document is 150 pages in my Google Doc just on the next transaction. Like, all the things I'm doing.
But let's talk about, like, because you were the unicorn. I tell people this all the time. Like, how many people do you know sell like you do and come, like, Ken Goodrich, yes. Dave Geiger, yes. Like, there's guys out there, right? But the majority of people that sell their companies go off into the sunset and slow down. You'd agree to that?
Well, here's what I found. There's a great book called A Man's Search for Purpose. And it's about a guy that's in the Holocaust. We need purpose. You might think, and if you got kids and you love golf, that goes, maybe you'll get 2 years. But people wake up and they want to feel purpose. They want to feel like there's something to do. Like, they want to feel they've got this talent that needs to be. Now, there's double-edged sword here. One's like you could completely do nothing, and one's you work your whole life every day like Steve Jobs, and you look back and say, I can't take it with me. And I don't think I have any regret up to this day. I heard there was this panel at Cristiano's event, and one of the guys says, hey, all my kids and my grandkids have trusts. They're all getting their first house. They repay the trust. He goes, yeah, I missed a lot of ball games. He goes, I'm not going to lie. He goes, I was an alcoholic. We lived in a 500 square foot house with a family of 4, and I needed to do something. So you can't say, I wish I didn't do all that. And also, like, we could still live in that house and I could still be an alcoholic and go back to the 500 square foot house. But I had to make a choice. And I went to a lot of good games. I went to most of the important games. I was at all my kids' graduations. But there is a choice, and you can't have both. You could do your best you could. You're off balance on purpose. You should be off balance. You should be. Like, think about it. When I'm at the best, I can't pray every day for an hour every morning and every night and in the middle of the day. Brush my teeth 18 times a day. Work out 3 times a day. Eat perfect every day. Work 12 hours a day. Make sure I'm doing great with my family. Call my mom 7 times a day and my niece and nephews. It's impossible. So there's these times of life that we just say go. And I feel like right now is the golden era. 10,000 baby boomers a day retiring. 12% of them own a business. The market's never going to be better. And you know what? AI is going to change a lot of things. I think I'm predicting in the next 10 years. I mean, Bill Gates just came out and said 10 years, people are going to have to learn to live without working.
Well, I mean, the thing is this is private equity firms and, you know, B and I have been through 6 transactions now. I think I've learned every single time more and more. Makes sense? And I think when you go through the transactions, because everyone that comes to me and you and talks to you, they think their company's worth it. They don't they're like, "We got the leverage against the PE firm." And I start laughing. I'm like, "The PE firm buys 1 out of 4 to 500 companies. At your size is probably less than that, right? Like, that they actually look at. 1 out of every 12 companies will get bought in the country that's for sale, right? Of that, 1 out of 400 we bought by a PE firm. Most of the
It's so tiny. PE's share is tiny.
and people don't understand that. And so, like, you're gonna get 3 or 4x from some guy that shakes your hand, says, "I'm gonna pay you over 5 years," or go to SBA and get money. All these ways they structure.
Yeah, or what you did, which was a mistake that you learned of this
Oh, the search
fund. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That was
There's a
that
lot of,
was
yeah.
I say to Julian all the time, it cost me $3 million. It was the bestest thing that ever happened to me, though.
It was.
Because I can always make money. I can always make
And you got good money up front.
I did, but you have to learn. What's funny is this: I would have sold it for the same amount without the earnout. Like, that's the truth. Like, I just wanted out of one. I got it back to I say now, but I just wanted out of that company, you know. So I would have sold it without that money. The point is, these guys on the private equity firms, they're playing chess on steroids while you're playing not even Connect Four. Like, it's just
Well, they need us though. There's one key thing. Like I've seen company after company after company. They don't have the ability to come and know your industry, know your vendors, know how to create the culture. Like if you're a platform company, look, I know a lot of companies right now, some of the best that you would know, and I'm not even going to mention their name because it's embarrassing. But companies that were at 80 million are now doing 60 million of EBITDA.
well,
I know a lot of them. I mean, we had the coolest summer in 25 years. So everybody says, look, PE companies don't ruin the company. You ruin the company. The founder ruins the company. The founder is the limiting belief system, the bottleneck in every business. When I look, Darius Liver is a good buddy of mine at FH Fur. He said, if I buy a company under 5 million of EBITDA, first day, you have to get rid of the founder because literally they're a plague, they're cancer, they'll hold back the business. They said, well, why'd you buy me? Well, we buy you because the business has so much, all I do is overlap the KPIs, booking rate, conversion rate, average ticket, and cost per lead. And if I love buying companies that are 30 years old that are paying very little for marketing, I turn on the machine and all of a sudden it starts printing money. I've had companies where every single technician stayed on. I've had companies where nobody's left. Not one person's left at that company. I'm buying a marketing source. But if you think a founder has the mentality when you give them a big lump sum of money, most of the time, I've seen it go wrong so many times. And I've seen it gone right a lot of times too. And they blame the PE company. And yes, there are some handcuffs that they put on you. They don't want you to be an entrepreneur and just go, hey, listen, I got an opportunity to buy a finance company. You do garage doors. Why are you buying a finance company? Hey, I want to invest in this. I want to invest in this. Why? And now I got the family office, so I got a whole team of 25 people. But this idea of like, wait, you're a garage door guy, and now you're going to buy a commercial garage door company? Would you understand that's different accounts receivable, different insurance, different trucks? You need forklifts. It's a completely different thing. It's B2B. It's not even in the same realm. And so they've taught me a lot of discipline.
It's not like garage doors going in the roofing, right?
Well,
that would still be a stretch, right? Because you have such a fine thing going on. Like, I tell people this right now. Like, we just made this. I'll be very transparent with you. Like, I was going into a few other things, and I paused everything this summer. I said, "What are we doing here?" I was like, we've sold 6 companies, 2 of them been in roofing. I got 2 more roofing companies that are ready to get sold, right? Next year, they'll go Q1, if not this year. I mean, they're both going to do over 25 million their first year in business, all retail at a 22% net, which isn't bad for your first 18 months in business. Like,
no,
think of it,
brilliant.
right?
It's
like
a good playbook. You keep doing that, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
And as I said, why are we not doing this, guys? All our partners are happy. They're fucking becoming multimillionaires when they sell. I'm like, why would we go into, as we just pulled it back? We're like, this is what we're doing. We're going to partner with another 3 to 4 roofing companies this year, the right ones, and we're going to make millionaires. Like, we're going to stick with the playbook and just rinse and repeat. Like, we're going to go into other things, and we're just not doing it.
Ben Hardy just wrote a book called Scaling. And I'm just going to go through some of the lessons that he gives that I've known. By the way, Ben Hardy's a buddy of mine. Great guy. Is Dr. Benjamin Hardy. He wrote Who Not How. He wrote The Gap and the Gain. A lot of good books. First of all, set an impossible goal and a high floor. Be extreme honest with your team on what's working, what's not, because people like to stick to what used to work and doesn't work today. Focus and filter. And that's the main thing you're talking about, focus and filter. And entrepreneurs have a very hard time doing that. Figure out a way for exponential growth, not just growth. Think about the future, not the past. And simplify the business. And I will tell you, we don't do box stores. We don't do home warranties. We don't like I know there's a lot of companies buying garage door companies. Find out how they're doing as far as organic growth. Like I could go buy, by the way, one of the bigger companies out there that I respect a lot, they bought 10 deals that I looked at and I passed. Why? Because it was like they do a little bit of everything. Some of these guys are doing front doors and fireplaces, and some of them are doing a lot of new construction. We don't do new construction.
No way.
There is a chance in the future that I know long term that if I could get back in that home and I could sell upgrades, in 3 to 5 years on the parts that are going in on that door, it becomes service. So if there was the right size, but the problem is right now is the best time to buy new construction because it's at an all-time low. I mean, Florida stopped, California stopped. Like they're at 10% of what they were at 100%, which they were a couple of years ago. So,
And that's just based simply, in your opinion, on interest rates.
oh yeah. Well, interest rates and there's, well, in certain counties, it's just really hard to get permits. I mean, look at California. That fire just happened. It's 3 years for them to rebuild, to even to get the permits. I mean, what these liberal cities got to learn is you got to let people. I care about the environment as much as anybody, but you also got to figure out a way to like let people rebuild their home. I mean, the reservoirs were empty in California. Gavin Newsom's. I don't want to go there, but
All right, here's a question for you. Do you think the majority of politicians are criminals?
I think what happens is most of them start out wanting to go into a good system. They want to make a change. And then what happens is you go into this place, just like I remember when I went from private school to public school in 4th grade. I didn't even know what the F word was. And all of a sudden you get put into a system where you start to it changes you. And if you're going to make it, you've got to start doing some, I won't say shady, but above board stuff that just isn't best for the American people. So you learn to, if you're going to go into there, a lot of people go in and they go back out. They're like, I can't play this game. So yeah, it's pretty dirty. I want to play with this one thing from Scaling by Darren Hardy, and I want to get your take. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. So I got it at 2.0. I'm just going to go to 1.35. The science of scaling.
Because they can't get beyond themselves, they fail to attract the level of talent and teamwork needed to aggressively scale. If you don't have the right people on your team, you won't scale. Yeah, you can have a nice business. You can make great money, but your results will be puny and slow compared to what they could be if you had teamwork with world-class talent just as committed as you. Super who's are required.
So there's a part in there where Bill Gates mentioned in a quote that a great developer will be 10,000 times more effective than an average developer. And I'm looking at the team, and you know what I'm always doing is saying, who else? Who, not how. I mean, I'm going, who else do we need? World class. We just did a Doge program in our own company, and it's in here. So my CFO, who's absolutely phenomenal, we got all these things here. Eliminate waste, negotiate vendor agreements, and improve processes. We found 760,000 annualized cost savings this year alone. Now, every dollar
times that by 20.
Yeah, that's what I think. Every dollar you make, every dollar you save. And I see people going, why would you pay somebody that kind of money? And why would you? Last year, what I did is I looked at the bonus structure where all my C-suite gets double the bonus. But that's the problem is with bonuses, by the way, is it's 1099, it's W-2 money, right? You're going to get taxed like crazy. But I said, oh, all right, guys, here's the stretch goal. And it's a hard stretch goal. We're probably not going to hit it, but I'll give you 2 times your annual salary. I wanted to get them excited about it. And certain people get motivated by that. Certain people are like, by the way, in my next deal, I'm going to ask for 0 salary. I want it in equity. I don't want a salary. Make it 0. I mean, because that's how much I believe. And when you go to these guys and you believe like I believe, Like, I'm not rolling 10, 20, 30, 40%. I'm going big. Because if I roll 700 million into the next deal, we're going to 10x that. I mean, we're going to 4.5x this one. That's in 3.5 years. I'm going big on the next one. And why? Because I control it. And I've really like looked myself in the mirror and go, I'm not good at a lot of things, but I'm good at finding talent. I'm great at telling stories. I'm great at people buying into my vision and my dream. And I think that's the most important thing of a leader. And I see leaders out there where they're just shit talking all the time. They're angry at their people. They never give praise. And like, we could do better. My thing is continue to ask a lot of questions. I ask so many questions. I've stopped telling them what to do, and I've been patient with myself because I want to go tomorrow. I'm like, what are we going to change? And now I'm like, all right, guys, what's the plan on this? And what's the priority level? And we look at this. And how does this get us to our North Star? And is this the right thing to be doing right now? And I've got to have full agreement because it used to be my ideas. And what I realized, Lance, my ideas are going to fail because no one's on my team. If it's their idea, they're going to run just as hard as I am at it.
The lead, you know, the doctor there talking is, and people don't realize this, is if you don't have a leadership team, I truly believe you see, like you said to me, Lance, man, like before, I don't know if you remember saying this to me, you're like, man, like one of your superpowers is you surround yourself with great people that are just willing to drive the business.